Hi everyone, and thank you for listening. Today I want to talk about religion, a topic that many people feel uncomfortable discussing. In modern society, religion is often described as outdated, irrational, or even dangerous. When people speak about progress, they usually mean science, technology, and economic progress, but not temples, prayers, or belief. In China especially, religion is rarely discussed as a personal experience. Instead, it is usually treated as political matters or social problem. Many students grow up thinking that religion is either meaningless or harmless. But I do not want to argue whether religion is true or false in a theological sense. I want to ask a more human and practical question. What does religion actually do in people's life? Specifically, in an educational system filled with pressure, exams, and comparison, can religious or spiritual practices still offer something valuable? To explore this, I will first introduce the strongest criticism of religion, mainly from Karl Marx. Then I will share my personal story as a high school student, followed by a short video from my roommate. After that, I will explain using academic research how religion can shape identity and help people handle stress. Finally, I will conclude by suggesting a different way of understanding religion. Karl Marx is one of the most important thinkers influencing modern attitudes towards religion. His famous line, "Religion is the opium of the people," is often misunderstood. Marx did not mean that religion was simply a harmful drug. In his time, opium was real medicine. It eased pain, but it not cure disease. Marx believed religion works in the same way. It reduces suffering emotionally, but it does not eliminate the real causes of suffering. According to Marx, people live in a society divided by class and inequality. Instead of teaching people to question the system, religion teaches them to accept it. People are encouraged to believe that suffering has meaning and rewards will come later, and that injustice is part of the destiny or God's plan. Religion therefore becomes part of what Marx called the superstructure, a system of beliefs that support the economic system underneath. While factories control people's labor, religion discourages rebellion by offering hope in another world. From this perspective, religion helps keep the system stable. It changes anger into patience and protest into prayer. This is why Marx considered religion not just mistaken, but politically dangerous. Even today, this idea shapes public opinion. Religious violence, cult scandals, and political religion seems to support Marx's worry that belief can be irrational or harmful. In China, the suspicion is strengthened by state policies that tightly regulate religious organizations, making religion appear more like a risk than a resource. However, Marx answered one question very well: how religion can serve power. He did not answer another important question: why do individuals still turn to religion even when no one forced them to? And to understand that, we must leave ideology and examine lived experience. So I would give you my own experience. During my final year of high school in Beijing, pressure controlled my daily life. Exams felt endless, and every mistake felt permanent. Grades slowly became identity, and near my school was one show temple. Although it is now officially a museum, it still carries that atmosphere of a temple. So sometimes after school and sometimes during lunch breaks, I would like to take subway there alone, and I did not go to study Buddhism, but I went because the place was quiet and I really liked the atmosphere there. So On weekends and holidays, I visited other temples in Beijing, such as Tanzhou Temple and Dajue Temple. So sometimes I prayed, sometimes I only sat there and watching incense smoke rise, hearing monks chant, and seeing ancient statues created a feeling of distance from stress. So religion did not make my exams disappear, but it changed how I experienced pressure. It gave stress a shape and gave fear a place to rest. In a world that constantly demanded performance, and the temple allowed me to exist without being measured. And now you will watch a short video from my roommate who will share his experience.
Hello everyone, my name is Haik and I'm from Armenia and I'm Christian. Armenia is the first country accepting Christianity, and 99% of our population, including me, are Christians. And I want to thank Oza for inviting me to this podcast, and I'm gonna share my story with you. My religion played an important role in helping me through the college application process. Each day I turn to God for strength, especially when I feel tired, when I feel stressed, and I'm unsure about my progress. I prayed for help with my studies and for the ability to stay focused when my mind felt scattered. After praying, I often felt a real change inside me, inside my soul, and inside my brain. I feel calmer, more determined, and more confident in my ability to keep going, to push forward. It feels like God was giving me the energy I needed to continue. When I work on my college essay late at night, I keep reminding myself that I was not doing it alone. If I was still awake at 4 in the morning brainstorming the ideas, I believe that because God had planned for me. I know that God is still working. This belief helped me stay more motivated during the moments when I feel like giving up, and my faith made this step feel meaningfully even when the work felt heavy. Little by little, brick by brick, I made my progress, and some days it was just like sentences, some days it like whole paragraph, but every day I move forward with trusting God. When the accepted message I got from DKO, I feel like confirmation of the effort I had put in, all the prayers I had said. I thank God because I know that every sacrifice, every late night, and every moment of doubt had been met with His support. This experience really strengthened my faith even more, and trust can lead to the real results. Again, thank you, Hoza. Please.
Thank you, Hike. And I want to show you some academic research on it. Sociologist Max Weber approached religion very differently from Marx. While Marx focused on power, Weber focused on meaning. And Weber believed religion does not just reflect society, it actively produces types of people. In The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, Weber showed that religion creates personality structures. Protestant Christianity encouraged discipline, responsibility, and self control. Work became not just a job but a moral duty. And later scholars summarized Weber's idea simply: religion is one of the main sources of the self. Religion shapes how people understood who they are and what kind of life is valuable. From this perspective, my temple visits were not escapes. They were moments of identity formation, quiet practices that help organize emotion, attention, and self understanding. Another scholar, Meredith McGuire, introduced the concept of lived religion. She argued that religion is not merely what institutions teach, but what people actually do with belief. Religion lives in daily actions, praying before an exam, stay silent in a sacred place, or just performing small rituals for comfort. And this explains why many students participate in religious behavior without labeling themselves as religious. Religion becomes emotional regulation rather than formal doctrine, and research by Bowen and Small also supports this. They found that students' spiritual development depends mostly on whether their environment allows reflection on meaning, and not on whether they formally follow a religion. And anthropologist Tanya Luhrmann goes further by showing that religious practices actually train attention and feeling. Over time, prayer and meditation reshape how the brain experiences fear, confidence, and hope, and belief become emotional training, not blind faith. Together, the scholars show that religion does not only hide suffering, and it also teaches individuals how to carry suffering. Marx reminds us to be cautious of religion when it serves power, and Weber reminds us that religion also builds the self. So, religion can control and religion can support. Both can be true at the same time. So, the more useful question is no longer is religion right or wrong, but what kind of person does this religious practice help create? And education without meaning becomes exhaustion. Knowledge without identity becomes emptiness. And religious practices, as its healthiest, does not answer exam questions, but it answers the human ones. So, thank you for listening, and I hope this is inspiring for you.